very short. So we will create this difference of potential. So whenever we press the button on the plasma IQ, we will see this sparkle. This sparkle is going to cause the sublimation of the skin. Sublimation. What is sublimation? From solid to gas. So our skin will pass from solid state to gas. So it's improper to say vaporization, because vaporization is when the liquid is going to gas. In this case, it's called sublimation. How to distinguish a good plasma from a bad plasma device in terms of technology? I don't know, have you ever seen any plasma working? Yes or no? This is not a difficult question. Have you ever seen a plasma working? When you work with plasma, you leave this very small scab, very small injury to the skin. If the plasma is a good plasma, you will see this kind of situation, very small injuries. If a plasma is not a good plasma, you will see this wider, bigger. And what is the difference in creating this small damage with big damage? Small damage, you will have shorter recovery time, less side effects, and less chances to have post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Or, for instance, pigmentation problem, especially here in Asia, where the sun is shining almost every day. It's a hyperpigmentation. With our device, you don't have this problem. Why? Because the damage is really controlled. So we are injuring always a very small area. This is the same concept of the fractional lasers. It's something that you can do with the plasma. So it's, which are the treatments that we can do with plasma? Normally we do this kind of blepharoplasma, which means that we are treating the eyelid, the upper eyelid, and we are causing the contraction of the skin. This is good for patients with a moderate skin laxity, excess skin. When it's too much, they have to go for the blepharoplasty. So cut, excision, cut, and removal of the tissue. But when the situation is still like the one you see here, you can improve the situation by using the plasma. But at the same time, you can also connect a return electrode, so you can use higher energy, and you can remove the xanthelasma. This is one of the treatments you can perform. We saw that we can remove it also with another technology we saw yesterday, xanthelasma. You can also remove with, we saw yesterday, with, can we remove this with Zafiro? Can we remove this with Zafiro? No. Can we remove this with Sectum? Yes. With Sectum, surgical. Sectum with the surgical tips I showed you yesterday in the video, briefly. You can remove this also with Sectum. This is a surgical work. If you have a surgical work like this doesn't need precision, you can do it also with plasma. Sectum, it is used when you do the high precision surgical, the high precision, the surgical procedure like blepharoplasty. I need to cut the skin. For the blepharoplasty, I have to use Sectum. But when I have cases like this, or skin tags, keratosis at this stage, I can use even the plasma. So the plasma, we connect a return electrode, and we can also cut the skin. When we have a papilloma, when you have this tags, especially here under the underarm, and you just want to cut, you can do it with the plasma. So the plasma is a very nice, also surgical tool for the clinics. For instance, if you want to remove something like this, you see that with the plasma, you can slowly remove it. And this doesn't need any kind of precision. This is just a cut that you do at the level of the papillary dermis. Okay, these are some other before and after picture. What you can do, the magnetous. Okay, warts, another magnetous, pigmented magnetous. This is the seborrheic keratosis in the early stage. Xanthelasma, and so before. Oh, good. So, which are the key features of the plasma? We should have the device here, somewhere, here, to have the emission, and then pressing either high or low. This is how to use it. Really, like a pen. Then, if you want to connect the return electrode, this is the place where you connect the electrode, and you will have extra energy to cut. Okay, so if I have a papilloma or the skin type we saw together before. Okay. Then I will tell you also the difference between high and low because it's really interesting. Other very good and important things I told you before. First of all, it's really lightweight, easy to use, portable. For instance, doctors having more clinics, they can travel with the plasma very easily, and it is coming in this hard shell box you see there. So all the tools, the device, the charger, the needles, you have there. There is the home space. So you can also ship this by plane as a checked luggage, and this is really hard shell and resisting to the shock. So which are the advantages of this plasma? First of all, this is something completely projected and with our own factory. So this is why you have this very high level technology. Then when you want to compare plasma, there are a lot of plasma coming from China, from Korea, maybe even you have local plasma. But what is making the difference is the quality of the sublimation. So the smaller, the better. When you have white and you have a really big damage, this is going to be a disaster for the patient. The components, the needle are disposable. We have to change for each patient. Sometimes we have to change it also in the same procedure if the procedure is long, the result. What is the problem of plasma? Plasma is not selective. So when we work with lasers are absorbed by water, the CO2 and the skin lasers. Plasma doesn't have targets. So we are going to sublimate the skin. So it's not absorbed by water. So plasma is not as selective as a laser is. So the cost is that the price, the kind of treatment, the cost is that it's not as precise as a laser is. But in Europe we are talking about, $7,000 versus $50,000. So 7,000 is the price of the plasma in Europe, and 50,000 is the price of the CO2 laser. So it's a completely different range of price. Some figures will work. Okay, this is how to use the plasma. You see on the upper eyelid, but this you will see later better with Yvonne. You see that depending on the kind of tightening you want to create, you increase the density of the dots. So it's up to the operator to decide the distance among the dots. The more dense are the dots, the more the tightening. Okay, this is for instance water. Interesting. You know that with the heat, you can destroy the water, or with the cold. The bacteria causing this also this temperature, let's say, you can kill it with a low temperature or with a high temperature. This is an easy type to remove with the plasma. So you see that you eliminate, you go up to the papillary layers without any kind of bleeding. This is a seborrheic keratosis at the early stage. So here you go with the high settings. You do it almost continuous. And you see that you are very superficial. Then, with the gauze, you can remove the pigmentation. But it's very superficial. It's pretty superficial. With your choice, because when we speak about hair removal, we already have hair removal technology since many years. And we always have, which are the main technologies for hair removal? Who wants to add? There are three main technologies for hair removal. Which are the three main technologies for hair removal? Then there are three different kinds of lasers for hair removal. And the young, good. Diane and like me. What is my name? Alexander. Yeah, my name is Alexander. Good. These are the four technologies for hair removal. Very good. And we have a diet that we will see later what we have in this diet. When we go for the so-called skin lasers, we have different solutions. We have mainly ablative and non-ablative lasers. When we talk about lasering, and you see lasering there, okay, this device black with the white handpiece, we are talking about 1470, 1470 nanometers, fractional, non-ablative. So what does it mean, fractional and non-ablative? Okay, fractional, as I told you before, with lasers can be emitted with the full beam or with fractionated beam. So we have a spot, and in this spot we have microcolumns. Microcolumns, so it's not fully emitted, but we have some microcolumns. Non-ablative, we have some lasers like CO2 or RBMR that are ablative, so we are removing part of the tissue. With laser beam is non-ablative, so we are not removing any layer of the tissue. Okay, so fractional, non-ablative. So depending on the wavelength, we have, as we saw yesterday, we have a different penetration of the laser. If we see the lasers for hair removal, we say before, we have a laser drive penetrating deep, we have diode a little bit deeper, we have NBR even deeper, because the hair follicles are here in this area. That's why we need to use lasers penetrating deep. But when we want to work on the skin, which is our chromophore, which is the chromophore we have to work on, is water. And when we have water absorption here, in fact, you see that the penetration of this laser is quite superficial in comparison with this one. Because we have to remember that water is starting to be the prevalent chromophore around 1,200 nanometers. So it makes sense that whenever we have water absorption, we are more superficial. So these are all the lasers working on the skin. Superficial. If we want to go deep, so hair removal, vascular lesions, we have to use the lasers working in this area. Water is starting to be the prevalent chromophore around 1,200 nanometers. So it makes sense that whenever we have water absorption, we are more superficial. So these are all the lasers working on the skin. Superficial. If we want to go deeper, so hair removal, vascular lesions, we have to use the lasers working in this area where we have water absorption. See, here we have absorption by melanin, so hair, by hemoglobin, blood. From here, the main chromophore for absorption will be water. So we will work on that.
the one you see here below, these are settings that we use very seldom. Only when you have post-acne scars, you're going to use this kind of settings. Most of the times, you are going with the settings you see here above. So you will have these white spots maybe for 24, 48 hours, not longer than this.
So when you have this, acneic skin with some wrinkles, some acne, even when you have this wrinkled forehead, very good for stretch marks, acne scars, post-acne scars, and also pigmentation. And this is something that the doctor will ask you, how come that we have good results on high fluorescence if we don't have a lot of dots? Or if you want to have a lot of dots, you try to decrease the fluorescence. With laser beam, you can have the maximum fluorescence available, 50 millijoules per microthermal zone, with the highest density, with the minimum spacing. So doctors can regulate the fluorescence and the spacing independently. Why this is important? Because if I want to treat the anemic skin, I can use these parameters without any problem. But if I have to treat stretch marks, post-acne scars, I need to use a very high density, low spacing, with a pretty high fluorescence. Otherwise, I will never have good results. So this is the main advantage of laser knee in comparison with the other existing lasers. Because whenever you enter a clinic, you will find a different scenario. So doctors not having any kind of laser for the skin. So you need to convince them that non-ablative is probably much more flexible, less right, than having an ablative laser. Or you enter a clinic and you find a CO2 and an air repair. So you have to convince the doctor that these are not overlapping. So the laser beam only when there is full contact between the epidermis and the skin. So it's impossible to fire in the eyes of a person accidentally entering the room. So the safety is at the top with this device. Only if there is full contact with the skin, we will have the laser emission. Just to finish the session of the laser beam, I want to show you some before and after scars, like the one you have seen. Yes, and the results you get are much better than with the CO2 or ergonia. Because as you have seen from the histologies, we are getting 400, 500, 600 micron speed. Remember that the CO2, the ablation of a CO2 is maximum 60, 80 microns. And then we have the heating effect. When we have ergonia, is 20, 30 micron speed. So we are extremely superficial. So the action on the improvement in collagenesis of this kind of laser is sure. See, again, the laser by itself, for instance, for an hour and focus, it's a weapon I show. But for some of the light wrinkle, it can work as a standalone. But it depends always on the cause of the wrinkle. So if the cause of the wrinkle is patients have been monitored with the trichoscopy. So this is this device that is able to count the number of hair. So we know exactly what is the reduction. So you see the average is 4 to 5 treatments before achieving a very good reduction, talking about 80, 90, 95%, depending again on the area, depending on the skin type, depending on the 2 or 3 treatments paint model, because in stem mode we need hours to treat this guy. So first 2 or 3 treatments with the paint mode, and then where we still have the hair regrowth, we will go with the stem mode. So on top you see the back after 4 treatments with the stem mode. And then we treat the lower back with the paint model. I don't remember if I have here the picture. Yes, paint model after 4 sessions. So exactly the same results. So when you have this kind of skin, this kind of hair, it is the best for a laser because you have a very good difference between the color of the skin and the color of the hair. You No matter if you go paint mode or stamp mode, you get always the same results. Maybe one treatment more, one treatment less, but it's not that you have 4 sessions in stamp mode and 12 sessions in paint mode.
I've just tested it and now I'm going to lock it back. Tighten it and make sure that the needle is really locked tight. Okay, and earlier on this morning, Alex showed that this is the low mode and a high mode. So today's patient is a banana. Okay, and we know that plasma IQ is indicated for wrinkles. So assuming I do a line here, I have a wrinkle here. Okay, this is a wrinkle. Assuming I will be doing the treatment along the wrinkle. Okay. So I will start off with, and remember, Alex mentioned that you have to have a finger here to close the loop. And then you have this like that. And you have to be very close to the wrinkle, the skin, but not touching the skin. Can you see? I'm not sure if you can see on the screen.
You can say, put it closer to the table to be fine.
I won't bite. Okay, so you can do the low, very close to it but never touching it. And you will see the scars, the scans.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see my screen here. So let me just do a little introduction of the Laser Me touch screen on here. So you can see we have basic mode and advanced mode. Okay, so for beginners, if you're not familiar with laser at all, we would highly recommend that you start with the basic mode because all the parameters are already preset in the device. So for instance, this is a standard. So you can see here we have the skin. The first option that you need to choose is to select the skin prototype 1 to 6 area. Where are you treating, body or face? And then what type of treatment are you actually doing? So for our patient here today, I would choose that she's probably about skin type 4 or 5, okay, or maybe just 5. And she wants to be treated on her face area on the 5 lines here. So I will choose face and wrinkles. Okay, next step. And you can see from here that immediately straight away the parameters are already prefixed in basic mode. But you can still have the option to increase the energy by 25%, for example, from 10 to 12 millijoules per point. And then spacing is as well already prefixed. You can see from here. And you can choose between a full window, half window, or just one line. So if you're doing this part here, I would recommend, because I'm doing this lower portion here, I will do the full window here. And then if let's say I perform the pulse, you can see how many pulse I actually did for the patient. Okay, so that I will do this to let it go on the standby mode. Cleanse the patient's skin. She already removed her makeup, so I'm just doing an additional wipe off of any residual, if there is. And even though our handpiece has got a very smart contact sensor whereby it will not be able to shoot if you do not have a full contact with the skin, we will still want to wear goggles for safety, patient safety. One more. Okay, you raised up your head. Thank you. It's okay, right? Can you see a bit overlap just? So just now I have actually pressed on this button. You can see it's red. That means the handpiece is ready to be operated. And you can see from the screen here, there's 3 dots. This means that the handpiece is on standby mode, ready for you to start. And when we have full contact, with the skin, you will see that all the green lights, green dots are lighted up. If let's say there is any uneven, this is considered not full contact. They couldn't contact, so you will not be able to shoot the laser at all. So let's say I will start on this area. I will slowly move up, okay? I will just start at a small area first to see how patients feel. Can you see that when the laser beam is being shot, it's actually blue? How is it? How do you feel? Is it okay? So she said she's fine, she's okay. So for the next shot, because we have a very small window, the next shot you will have to be very close to your previous shot, 45% overlapped. It's okay. Then I move on to the next one. Next one. This one, make sure that each shot is very close and with a 45% overlap so that you don't miss.
Can we have the patient face turn a bit
You can.
to the right side?
As in,
It's clear.
okay, can you just,
Yeah.
okay,
Is that okay for you?
is right? Yeah. Oh, no, you just turn back to, okay. I don't know where did I stop. Is it okay? So I'll do a bit on your nasal labial fold area. Okay, so let's wait a little while to see the effect after the treatment. Right now, we don't see maybe a little bit of slight redness. And you will see the dots more obvious in a short while more. So while waiting, let's talk about the other mode. Okay, so just now I showed the basic mode, whereby you choose your screen phototype, your body, and then your XCAR. But if let's say I go to the advanced mode, that is only if you are very experienced with laser, you want to control all parameters, then you will need to set everything by yourself. So just now earlier on in the basic mode, the only parameters that you can adjust is the energy, the fluence. Spacing, you can't adjust because it's already prefixed in the basic mode. But in advanced mode, you get to choose. If you see, when I'm reduced this spacing, that means you're getting more aggressive. You have more micro column injury. The beams is more intensive. And then you can also increase to very less aggressive, bigger spacing. And for the energy, you can actually increase all the way to 50, which is the maximum, and 5 is the minimum. So if let's say you are a very experienced user, you want to control other parameters, this is where you can actually come from. And then similarly, you choose the spot size, the window size. Okay, so let's take a look. You can start to see a little redness. The shots that I did, can you see the dots? A little bit, right? So sometimes after a treatment, right, you will notice that maybe after 5 minutes when the dots are more obvious, you'll be able to see little gaps where if let's say the previous shot you have not done very close enough, right, you can actually top it up, touch up, and then you can still go back to choose. On the same session, what I meant is, if let's say you can see there's a bit of gaps here and there, you can still choose like doing it again on those missed area, which now I can't see yet because it's not obvious yet. Any questions? No? Okay, so if not, then maybe I'll continue with this area here. Thank you. So we have to wait until this hourglass goes off, then that's where you can start shooting, because right now it's still on, initializing. Okay, so with this, means it's ready. Start from here. Sorry, I'm supposed to wear my goggles. Forgot. device. Even here, the patient can just immediately go back to the normal mode. Not much of a downtime. Is there any questions here? Actually, this 150 cm is this area that I'm going to treat. Initialize your... Thank you. And for our Appeal Me, there's an option. Either you use the initializing on this button here or there's a foot switch. But for today, we only have our headpiece here. So there's this button where I will engage the laser beam. So if let's say you prefer to be stepping, you can actually switch to the foot switch. And highly recommended to keep this cord to be hanging here because this thing is really very heavy. So to help you to ease your operation of your treatment, do have this hanging up here. Okay? So we can see that the device is ready. Just hold on, let me bring it down a bit more. So if let's say you want more stability, I would highly recommend that you use both hands to hold the device, the handpiece, rather than just one. Okay. And there's also a 1 degree constant cooling for the patient. So before I even want to start out, for a first time user, you might just want to glide to make sure that you know, to be familiar with the motion. And at all times, right, the handpiece have to be in full contact with the skin. Okay. Let me just put this way. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to start. So this is pain mode where you actually move the handpiece across the treatment area. If any point you want to stop, please release this button here or your foot switch. In pain mode, you have high frequency of short pulse duration, so your motion has to be at this kind of speed, not too slow, because if it's too slow, the patient will feel very hot. How do you feel? Is it okay? It's comfortable? Okay, good. Always check with your patient, how does he feel, especially if it's first time test patients for epilation. Okay, do you hear the 2 beep sound? It means that for this area is completed. So it actually helps, you don't have to keep looking at this bar for it to finish. It's actually alerted by these 2 beeps. So this area is completed treatment, so you can move on to the next area. The next area that I want to show is this portion here using the interval stand mode. In interval stand mode, we have a single shot where you do shot by shot. And then you also have interval of choice of frequency 2 to 3. So that means you're delivering 2 hertz in a shot. So let me just share the first one first, single. Let me see. So if let's say the patient has done 4 sessions of pain mode, the 5th session he or she comes in, right, you may want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can actually do this stand mode. And I'm doing the single one, and you can see just now the pain mode, the energy was about 5 or 6. You can choose to up to maximum 6, but in stand mode, it's even more aggressive. Straight away, the parameters is 11, and you can actually change 12 if you want to. Sorry. Oh, that's the max, 11, okay? So if let's say I'm going to do the stand mode, it will be spot by spot. This is one spot. Then I'll move on to the second one. Very close proximity, 2. 3. So this one, you're just delivering 1 hertz per shot. If let's say I'm going to move on to the interval, you can choose between 1 hertz or 2 hertz or 3 hertz. So let's say I do the first one, the 2. Thank you. You can hear that it's beep, beep, the 2 beep sound, and then you will glide across the treatment area. How do you feel? Is it okay?
It's okay.
Yeah. So that is you're delivering 2 frequency, 2 hertz. So if let's say I move on to the 3, you're here. This one you'll move a bit more faster than the previous 2 hertz because you're delivering 3 hertz in a second. So you got to move a bit more faster. Any questions? So just let me finish this area. Okay. So is there any question? I need to hold first. Or anybody wants to come and try? Thai colleagues, would you all like to come and try? Because you all need to be very familiar with the device. Can I have one volunteer from the Thai team, please? Thai colleagues. When I ask for volunteer, everybody look away. I'm going to choose. We will do this area, you need. So go and get the paper and you have to do the marking. And the piece of paper, you can just do this area here.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can draw.
มันต้องเล็กลงปะใช่
You shave already, right? This
Yeah,
area?
yeah.
So also can. You can also do it. But not so far because I just did here, right? So you don't want to leave a gap.
Okay.
You don't want to leave a gap. You will be close to it. So do note that when you are drawing the areas, right, please do not leave gaps all over the place. Then you have untreated areas. So when you draw the next one, please. Right, so when you draw the next one, your rectangle has to be close to the next one. So you draw over here. Just do here will do. So next you need to apply the ultrasound gel. It's over there. So this area here.
หนาไหมจ๊ะไม่หนาบาง
As mentioned, we do not need to apply a lot. The purpose of this gel is to help you to glide the handpiece across the treatment area.
แต่แบบไม่หนามาก
Unlike the Cephiro that you saw yesterday, I apply very thick because I need the Cephiro gel for the absorption of the penetration of the light. But this one is more of just helping you to glide the device. No need so much. Just move it over the area. Even this area that
ให้เลยเอาเลยเหรอนิดนึงเหรอนี้เหรอ
yeah, even the white line.
โอเค
Yeah. Yeah.
ให้เลยเร็ว
So if you're ready, then we can set the.
ตรงนี้ใส่เกียร์ให้เรียบอะเกียร์ให้เรียบอะ
It's enough already. Too much already. It's enough. No need so much. Okay. Can you put on your glove? I'll ask her to put on gloves.
ถุงมือ
Gloves. So during demonstration in the clinic, do put on your glove.
ต้องใส่
Yeah.
ขอโทษนี่ก็คือยาวแล้วก็ยาว
Okay. Then you can come over to select the parameters. Come here. Get closer. Okay, so you'll use the basic mode. So where are we treating? The lower leg, right? So you choose the lower leg. Yes. You want to come here so that you don't have it's easier. Female, Chutima, okay? Female is chosen. Next step. So what is Chutima skin type? About 4, right? So it's really prefix. Hair color is also 2. And then thickness and density. Okay, next. So paint mode is the motion that you see just now what I did, okay? Paint mode. Okay, so this is her first treatment. Remember just now I said that if let's say this is a second treatment, then you have to select the second treatment because the frequency will increase at each visit. So this is her first visit. So it's first, okay? And then if let's say you want to increase, you can increase by 1 to 6, okay? Then you can start. Wait for this to be gone and then you can start to initialize. Yeah, so you've got to put on the goggles. No, put on the goggles first. And what you need to do is, when you hold the handpiece, don't start the button first. Just get your motion familiar, okay? Get yourself familiar with the motion. So what I meant is that you don't need to start first, but you just, Chutima, can you sit over a bit more? Thank you. So use 2 hands for more. Yeah, because it is heavy. So if you use 1 hand, you might, because at all times, right? At all times, this device has to have full contact with the skin. So sometimes if it's too heavy, when you're moving, you might glide off and the patient might feel burned. So for more stability, okay, and when you're doing application, you also have to have some pressure on the skin area. Yep. So you use 2 hands and then you glide first, and then if you're very comfortable with the motion, then you will start to press on this button to start the treatment. Okay? Is that okay? Maybe I think it's too low for you. Let me raise up the bed. Okay, so don't on yet. You just try the gliding motion first to be familiar. Yeah, so your wrist got to be very flexible when you're moving. Yeah, because at all times the device has to be having full contact with the skin. Is it okay? Okay. If you're okay, then you will start from here. So you will move. You will move according to this row. Okay? Let's try, okay? So if you're ready, then you can start to press and hold the button and then move the device. Stop. Okay, so what's not correct is you are doing this. So when you do this, the device, the window is not having full contact with the skin. So it has to be 90 degree perpendicular. So you do this. You get what I mean?
โอเค
Yeah, you cannot be gliding like this. It has to be 90 degree perpendicular to the skin. Okay?
ช้าๆ
Let's
ก็ได้
try again.
อย่าช้าเกิน
Have to be 90 degree. Continue on, don't stop. Then you move back down. You can only stop when the device gives you the alert.
คือลากไปเรื่อยๆจนกว่าจะได้ยินเสียงอะ
ไม่หรอกนิ้วมันอ่อนเองมันหยุดเองจริงๆตอนเนี้ยมือจะสุดไกลแล้วอะมือจะหลุดจากไกลแล้ว
Okay.
อีกนิดนึงโทษนิดนึง
Continue. Continue the whole area. Okay, so the device alerted that this area is completed. So then you can move on to the next area. Okay?
โอเค
All right. Any question? Okay, you can put back. Wait, I'll put this slide.
พูดเลยหมอเมื่อยอะ
No question? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Uni.
รู้สึกร้อนนิดนึงก็ทับลายอะโอเวอร์แลปนิดนึง
แล้วก็ลอยนิดนึง
Okay, so Chutima asked me when do we use pain mode or when do we use stand mode? So I mentioned before, if it's the first time patient has done 4 rounds of pain mode, then you can move on. The 5th session, you can move on to the stand mode, which is more aggressive. And so in stand mode, you can see the repetition. You have a single shot by shot. So the laser beam is being emitted when you press on the button or the foot switch shot by shot. And then if let's say you want to be even more intensive, aggressive, you can choose by 2 hertz, delivering 2 hertz. And remember just now I was actually moving the area. I can show you again. Or even more aggressive, 3 hertz. It means you're delivering 3 hertz in a second. So it's more aggressive, more focused. But of course, if it's a first-time patient, you don't straight away go into the stand mode. You will just do the pain mode first, and then after the 4th session, the 5th session, you can start to do the stand mode to be more focused and aggressive.
ใช่ค่ะคนบาง
ที่เลยลายไม่เกิดร้อน
ใช่ค่ะ
กันเบิร์น
ใช่ค่ะ
Yeah, over here as well. Yeah, just cover the line.
ที่เลยลายไปกันเบิร์น
Okay.
แบบ
If it's
เผื่อ
good.
โอเวอร์แลปเลยมาค่ะ
Yeah, it's good enough. You can glide.
อยากให้ลายไปมาก
อันนี้แบบ
And then you can come here and press. I'm going to prefix everything. Okay, so you can actually choose the basic mode, yes. And then again, we are doing a lower leg.
lower leg.
Yes. Next step, female. Next. Okay, so actually I will prefix because it's the same patient, so you don't need to change again. But if let's say this patient is of a lighter skin type, you can choose accordingly because you can see the color changes. But for Chutima, we choose she's 4. I don't think she's even 5. This is too dark. So I would say she's about 4. Okay, the hair color is about 2. Okay, so all this is prefixed. Okay, next. Pain mode. Okay, energy 5 or 6. The max is 6 because all this is already prefixed and today is the first session. Okay, so we do this. When this goes off, it means that your device, your handpiece is ready, but we do not shoot first. So what I want you to do is you move, you take the handpiece, 2 hands to move to get familiar with the motion. And if you're familiar already, then you start to press on the button. Okay?
เขาบอกว่าเอาให้ชินก่อนนะคะแบบว่า
And okay, because this is a laser, you do not point the handpiece on people. Okay, where is the goggle for her? Chutima, your goggle as well. You got to wear. Okay, last one. Do you want to come over here, this side?
ใส่มานิดนึงนะ
Okay.
มันไม่ใช่เหมือน
So what you need to do is you put your hand here first. Don't press the button yet. Okay. So what we do is don't press the button. Just hold first. 2 hands. Okay. Start moving the handpiece. Yes, and then come down.
เจ็บ
Yes.
ไหม
ไม่ค่ะไม่แต่ว่าระวังรอยนะคะ
ต้อง
Just keep continue. Stop. Okay.
มันลอย
You know why? Because there was no full contact. So when you were going down, this thing went this way. So at all times you have to have full contact.
พอมันมีสปาร์คที่มันจะสปาร์ค
So at all times you have to have full contact. So like I mentioned, your wrist have to be very flexible. When you are going down, your wrist also move down towards.
ไม่เป็นไรพ่าย
You see? It has to be. You cannot do this like that. Then she will feel the burn. Okay, try again because we are not completed yet. So you still have this amount to go. Yeah. Okay, you start from the top. You want to stand in a bit more. Yeah.
ตอนนี้กำลังไลฟ์ทาง True Channel
ต้องเร็วไหมคะ หรือว่ายังไงก็โอเค
ห้ามกระดกนะ
คือต้องแนบทั้งหมดต้องห้ามยกหัว
And then move up.
ใช่ค่ะตะกี้เอียง
นี่ไง
Okay.
ประสบการณ์เลย
Continue until you hear the alert from the device that the treatment area. Yeah. So this is completed.
ดั
Yes.
งแล้วก็ถึง
Okay.
ค่ะ
Okay. So thank you so much for volunteering. Okay, that's it. So that's all for today's hands-on practical session. The next session now is going to be in cosmeceutical, which I'll have my colleague Olivia to dial in. So give us like 5-10 minutes for me to set up with her. Thank you.
So, of course, whenever it's on, would you please switch over your microphone because there's like a lot of things. So, despite the fact that we are going to discover our range of cosmeceuticals you prepare, you can also send me after the training your questions, and I will try my best to answer them as best as possible. So let's then get started. The review of our aesthetic cosmeceuticals is the fact that they were specifically designed to be combined with aesthetic procedures, steam vibes that show the real change in the skin. So there are a lot of scientific proofs that actually combined approach provides overall better rejuvenating outcomes, and the proper skin regimen can not only enhance those results, but at the same time it can prolong them, decrease the adverse reaction, and at the same time patient can implement their everyday skincare regimen proper skincare habits that will restore the proper and optimal function of the skin. So, I would like to also emphasize the fact that whenever in the clinics they are performing treatments with the light use, what's important is that this texture is quite rich. However, once you warm it a little bit, feed the leaves, and then apply it onto your skin, you will notice that it melts into the skin perfectly. So even with our focus and then in order to promote the penetration of active ingredients and also to protect them from oxidation, we also use the advanced delivery systems like liposomes, nanosomes, and hydroxysomes. The last one are nanocapsules made with calcium hydroxyapatite, and I will tell about it a little bit later on the three main factors that impact the life satisfaction. So cosmeceuticals can easily improve it. Then, as I mentioned, gaining trust, building loyalty. The satisfaction of the patients is absolutely priceless, and we know that it's easier to people with them. So, for example, share what kind of cosmeceuticals they are using, what creams they are using, rather than the treatments that they have under the clinic. So, for sure, when they are happy, they will share and recommend it to also their close people, so their loved ones, their friends. From the patient perspective, doctors will provide them with the solutions that are working in synergy. I really regret I cannot be there with you to look into your eyes and talk to you, answer your questions, but I would like to. I'm really, grateful for your time, attention, and hopefully there will be a chance in the future to meet. So I wish you good luck with our powerful solutions. I hope that your doctors will really appreciate it and will be happy with our aesthetic cosmeceuticals because they're effective, powerful,